What's up, guys? So I'm not done yet with the fighter emblem because a lot of heroes will really benefit from that buff, and one of them is Martis. There are still so many heroes I want to try and make a video about, but for now let's focus on Martis because I feel like he's become overpowered with his recent buff and with the fighter emblem. He's no longer a hero who's only strong in the early game and becomes trash in the late game. His late game damage was increased without compromising his early game damage because he's still extremely strong early on. And even though he becomes slightly weaker compared to his early game potential, he's still almost equal to most fighters in the late game. He's not trash anymore, especially if you're using the fighter emblem. After I secured the turtle here, I didn't see the enemy jungler on the map, and I was sure he invaded my buff, so I went for a counter invade as well. The problem is, I'm going to make a mistake here, and Dairoth takes so long to help me, so I end up dying. But you know what? That's totally fine. You actually have room for error with Martis now, and you don't need a perfect early game to win because it's very easy to recover with him. I still see players using the assassin emblem, which is honestly such a waste compared to the attributes you get from the fighter emblem. Attributes that the assassin emblem simply doesn't have. Assassin emblem actually gives you more damage, but Martis already has very high damage, so you don't need even more from the assassin emblem. What you actually need is the hybrid defense and hybrid lifesteal from the fighter emblem. If you think about it, Martis is just like Thamuz, Alucard, and Julian, heroes I've already made videos about. They all rely on both skills and basic attacks all the time. That's simply how their combos work. You need to weave both, otherwise you'll lack damage. And the hybrid lifesteal from the fighter emblem is truly a game changer for this type of hero. The enemy actually stole the Lord there, and that was honestly my mistake because an ant suddenly bit my balls, so I was late on my Retribution. The Diggy even trash-talked me because of that, despite how well I was playing in this game. But that's fine. It doesn't matter if you made a mistake. What matters is what you do to make up for it. Trust me, it's very easy to win with Martis right now as long as you know what you're doing, and you have the correct item and emblem build. This is the emblem I always use on Martis when I play jungle. Of course, if you use him in other lanes, you can switch Seasoned Hunter to Festival of Blood or any other Tier 2 talent. You really can't go wrong with any of those. This is the second time in this game that we almost finished it, because Alucard was the only one left, but my ultimate suddenly disappeared, so I couldn't kill him right away. And on top of that, our Dairoth walked away and didn't even want to end the game. The minions respawned too, so we needed another Lord to secure the game. It's hard to make mistakes during crucial moments, especially when the enemy has a carry who can easily kill me in the late game. But since this is already late game and I'm way ahead, they're at a huge disadvantage in terms of items. I killed Carry here, and she was my only priority since she can defend really fast. What's funny is that all the remaining enemies ganged up on me. They didn't even care about their base, so the game suddenly ended just like that. So here's another game, and I'm really enjoying using him in my matches right now. Except when the enemy tank stole my orange buff, it really delayed me. Good thing their jungler farms slowly, so I managed to catch up a bit by taking the EXP crab. Though the enemy mage made it a bit hard for me to invade here, luckily I still managed to secure it. Then our EXP laner died, but we were able to make up for it by killing his matchup right after. I didn't have my ultimate when the enemy started the turtle, so I went for my orange buff first because I didn't want it to get stolen again. I didn't make it in time for the turtle, and that was actually part of my plan since the cooldown of my ultimate was perfectly aligned. And even if the enemy gets the turtle, the trade I'm going to get is definitely worth it. I think I saved Hilda from dying here by using my Retribution on Fredrin to reduce his physical attack. But later on, Hilda will be the one saving me instead. He's such a solid jungler, and I don't think he'll get nerfed anytime soon because he currently has an AOT skin. A lot of players will probably buy that skin since he's extremely strong right now, and many AOT fans will get it for sure, even if they don't normally use that hero. Here, I got a bit too deep because I didn't have my ultimate. If I did, it would have been fine. And it's so satisfying to ult when you see the mark at the bottom of the enemy. The improved visuals really help a lot because it's much easier to see now. And a big W for Hilda for sacrificing herself for me. It's also a game changer to combine the damage from his ultimate with Sky Piercer, as it activates the indicator effects on the target. And Sky Piercer is actually the only damage item you really need for him. But in my games here, since I already built Fury Hammer, I just continue into Hunter Strike instead. Otherwise, it would be a waste of gold. Hunter Strike is really strong right now and fits perfectly with Martis' mechanics. Cooldown reduction is also a huge help for Martis, especially for his skills like the second skill. If you're jungling, you should have at least 20% CDR from items, plus an additional 10% CDR from the purple buff, for a total of 30%. That should be the minimum. I get my 20% from Hunter Strike and Queen's Wings, and it's definitely worth it. Martis really has 3 must-have core items: Sky Piercer, Dominance Ice, and Queen's Wings. The other items are interchangeable depending on the enemy. You really have no choice but to build Sky Piercer first, even if it feels like a gold loss, because it should always be your first build. Don't hesitate to use Martis when the enemy has a lot of crowd control, like in this game. I can't think of any other hero besides Martis who can completely crush enemies with multiple crowd control abilities. His CC immunity is such a huge advantage. You can't just ult him casually because it's risky for the enemy tank if you time your second skill correctly with his ultimate. The enemy lineup you should be careful about is one with a healer. The chance of missing your ultimate increases even with the indicator because of the healing and shields provided by items like Aqua Flask. And if Martis misses his ultimate, it can be a huge factor for the team. Sometimes that mistake alone can cost you the game. All 4 enemies were already down here, and it didn't take long before we finished the game. So easy, right? We had a total of 34 kills, and I got 26 of them. Imagine that, 26 kills for me, and among my teammates, the highest was only 3. And even if you add all of them together, it's not even half of mine. That's Martis' ultimate combined with Sky Piercer supremacy. I can confidently say he's the best Sky Piercer user right now. I thought Tigreal was going to steal my orange buff again and then say good game, but that didn't happen. Here I messed up my ultimate. I didn't expect Kadita to die instantly. Here, I saw that Hayabusa had no ultimate and no second skill. Even though I don't usually play that hero, I know his second skill has a long cooldown, and he's extremely vulnerable without his ultimate or second skill. So I dove him under the turret and was able to kill him. Luckily, no backup came from the enemy team. Then here, Hayabusa was super desperate. He probably thought he could still kill me. But even if I soloed his ultimate, he couldn't take me down here, and he would lose a shadow and end up dying instead. Martis' ultimate is also great for chasing enemies who are far away or have dashes, as you can see in this game. My ultimate followed Hayabusa several times. If you see the mark at the bottom of the enemy, it's really better to always use your ultimate as the last hit, because you get a movement speed boost when you kill the target. What's even more important is that your ultimate's cooldown will reset, plus you'll deal additional damage. So it's super important to last hit enemies with your ultimate. Although I think even if you don't actually get the kill, as long as the damage of your ultimate is enough, you still get the same effects. With other heroes, you might hesitate to ult a low HP enemy because it feels like a waste. But with Martis, it's the opposite. You should definitely use your ultimate, even if you don't see nearby enemies on the map. There are still many factors. 1. The enemy might escape because Martis' skills are slow, so they could dash or run away. 2. More enemies might be coming. And even if you use your ultimate and reset its cooldown, you have 10 seconds to use it again. During that duration, the ultimate's cooldown starts, the first phase, that is. So if you kill 5 enemies with your ultimate at 5-second intervals, and your ultimate has a 30-second cooldown, by the time the second phase ends, the first phase of your ultimate will already be available again. I'm not sure if you noticed, but earlier I was using Ice Retribution, and in some games I use Flame Retribution. One factor I consider is the enemy lineup. If they have a dive composition, I go for Flame Retribution. But if their heroes tend to keep their distance, Ice Retribution works better. But that's just my personal choice. I'm not a main jungler, I'm an all-around player, so I could be wrong. I got Maniac again here, and it was actually very easy. All the enemies were wiped out, and we secured the Lord, so not long after, we finished the game. In my next game, I used him in the EXP lane. I should have ended the video here, but I'll just add this one game in the EXP lane. Let's see what he can do. I'm up against X-Borg here, and Martis can easily bully him in the early game because Martis' damage isn't HP-based. X-Borg is only strong against heroes with HP-based damage since his own HP is low. I used Flicker, and there were some unexpected combos because of Martis using Flicker with his skill 1 and 2. You can see that I did those combos in this game. He's really better as a jungler than in the EXP lane because it would be a waste of his early game damage if he can't pour it into jungle creeps. He farms so fast. You can definitely see him in the pro scene. It's not impossible, especially if the player is skilled. It also depends on the enemy lineup. He's really a strong early game bully. This hero can bully the bullies like Hilda or Khalid who are super strong in the early game against the enemy jungler, but Martis can definitely go toe-to-toe with them. Of course, you have a slight disadvantage since you're the one farming, but it's still easy to handle those heroes. Even more so because his second skill gives him CC immunity and damage reduction. So thank you for making it this far in the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already.